I see all the time on LinkedIn, you're always hiring. So that's very clear. You're very good promoting at that. If anybody's ever seen Elan's profile, it's fantastic, as far as you're going to learn how to make a great LinkedIn profile. So let's say I noticed your profile. We both went to Schulich at York University. I'm 19, 20 years old. I'm finishing up my undergrad. And I come to you. I've never really been interested in finance. Like, I didn't think I was going to work for a bank, but I want to have a high upside. I want to work hard and I want to make a lot of money and I want to build a career for myself. Why should I get into mortgages? Like, how often do you get the young people come as far as recruiting that have never done sales, never been in banking? Because I know there's one stretch of people that I meet that have worked for a bank for a long time. They were a mortgage rep and then finally said, why am I doing this? I should work for myself. And then they become a mortgage
Yeah.
broker independently. But for somebody, let's say graduating or fairly young into and haven't had their first career yet, why would you steer them? Why should they be considering getting into the mortgage broker industry?
Well, it's kind of funny. There's almost this thing inside the mortgage broker industry, which is like, hey, how did you become a mortgage broker? Because normally it's not something that's like, oh, I want to be a mortgage broker when I grow up, or, I'm a doctor or a dentist or a lawyer or a police officer or whatever it is. It's kind of like this thing. So, it's funny, but Sean got into it because of me. I got into it because of Sean. But I've actually reached out in the last couple of weeks, and we're going to be doing a lot of on-campus recruiting for young graduates across, Seneca College, York, U of T, Western, Guelph, like all of these colleges and universities, because it's not something that people think about top of mind, but it is a great career, a great opportunity, and it's something that we actually believe that we can help people who are new graduates, build a career and a business out of it. So I think first of all, it's just awareness of like, hey, there's this thing called being a mortgage broker. Have you thought of it? And it's like, well, I'm a arts grad, I'm a music grad, I'm a science grad. I don't know what I want to do. And it's like, okay, let's talk about it. So what is a mortgage broker? So, you work to get clients and help them find a great mortgage. So again, there's elements of, what I call business math. So it's not calculus, it's not, all these crazy log cosine. It's multiplication, division, percentages. It's, grade 7 to grade 9 math. And it's client service, it's sales, it's delivering a marketing campaign, it's networking, and it's just something that a lot of people never think about. And then they're like, wait a minute, this is actually interesting. I get to help people, be involved in real estate. Obviously, a lot of Canadians love real estate. I get to do math. I get to build a business. And again, it's something that we're actually really doubling down on, is sort of on-campus recruiting.
So let's take that new recruit. And one of the things that I hear it in my industry, I'm sure you hear it in yours, and almost any industry these days, they'll say, "How do I break through as a young graduate? I have no experience, I have no knowledge." There are these people that seem that they have endless amounts of money because they do marketing nonstop. I see them on billboards, on the bus, I see them online. They're paying for Google ads, and they have this whole network and this whole team. How can I compete with this? Why would anybody want to work with me? And they start building up those roadblocks in their mind and they haven't even started yet. So for that person that gets overwhelmed seeing what's out there and they're like, wow, like how do I start when somebody is so much far ahead of me and there's so much competition? How do you help walk them off the ledge?
Well, I do think that you need a very positive mindset, especially as an entrepreneur and in a non-salaried role. So if you come in and you're open-minded and you're hardworking and you're, willing to put in the effort, the opportunity is there. And it could be, one of the things that I believe in is people should deliver their marketing and sales based on their skills and abilities. So if you're really good at digital marketing, focus on that. If you're good at giving presentations, focus on that. If you love talking with people, focus on that. So really, everyone builds their own marketing program, but it is a function of working hard, trying different things, experimenting. But it does start with a foundation. of, training, of understanding the different lenders, the different frameworks, so that you have some confidence, you have some uh, competence, and ultimately you can build on it. But Rome isn't built in a day. You're not going to, 99.9% of people are not going to come in and crush it on day one.
So now, to give it a little sneak peek for somebody who is thinking about getting into the industry,
Yeah.
how long does it take to get certified? Do they have to go to school? They take an
Yeah.
exam? Like what, like from beginning to end, like roughly, what is the process if one wants to become a mortgage broker?
So it's actually very quick to become a mortgage broker from a licensing point of view. You have to write one exam. You could probably write the exam within, 1 to 3 weeks and pass the exam. Once you pass the exam, you need to align yourself with a mortgage brokerage like Mortgage Outlet. And we do hire and recruit brand new agents, full-time, part-time. Obviously, we have experienced and seasoned agents and bankers, but some people that we've recruited, they do it as a part-time job until they get familiar and customized or familiar and knowledgeable about the industry, and then they quit their full-time job and do it part-time. So there are different stepping stones to becoming a mortgage broker, at least even on a part-time basis.
The interesting thing about Mortgage Outlet I've noticed compared to other brokerages is that cohesiveness. It's funny because most mortgage agents I know just say I have to belong to somewhere, but it doesn't matter. Nobody even knows which brokerage I'm part of, and they don't take a lot of pride in it. I noticed that in Mortgage Outlet, you come there, you notice the cohesiveness. It's a real family atmosphere, the teamwork, and people like to come to the office, work together. I noticed that at seminars. How how did you guys build that energy and be able to build that family when other brokerages, just seem to be, just existing but not wanting to be thriving?
I think that, Sean and I care about our people and we want to help them succeed. And, what I tell people, and I really believe this is, I'm not perfect. Sean is not perfect, but we try very hard and we care very deeply. And, you know, that goes a long way. Like if an agent calls us and it's late at night and they're struggling with a particular file or situation, or, they need a major exception from a lender, or they need to revamp their business plan, they know that we're committed to doing whatever we can to help them succeed. And I think that's kind of the foundation of where it comes from.
That's one of the beautiful things I noticed. And that's definitely, as far as being able to do real estate in Ontario, Canada versus other parts of the world is, you can have AI and you can have, cheap online rates and all this. But people forget, it's that service aspect that is so important when they have those questions, when situations come up and it's not cookie cutter and they have to run scenarios after the mortgage gets registered, after the transaction is done, and more questions come up. Having that service professional they can count on. It used to be in the old day that you had your professional for your given subject matter, and this is the person you relied upon for your whole existence. And there's not as much loyalty as there used to be, but I think it's coming back because I think people are appreciating the service aspect. I'm seeing it certainly in the legal field for sure,
Yeah.
and I would say in the mortgage industry, like Elan, if somebody works with you and says, I had a tight purchase, I didn't know if I was able to close my mortgage, and you got it done for me. I presume that loyalty goes a long way as far as working together and then working with their friends and family. I mean, the best advertisement I've always said is word of mouth, right?
Yeah, and I think the dynamic is that mortgages are actually much more complicated than people think they are. So, someone has a rental property and they have US debt and they have a side gig and they drive Uber and they rent out their basement and they're divorced, but their kids are 17 and they get child tax credit. Like it's not as simple as like, oh, I just put that through and the bank approves it. Like you have to make sure you go to the right lender. You're taking a credit product. And what that means is it's not, I want to go into Costco and buy an iPhone and you pay the money and you get it. Just because you want TD Bank or you want Scotia or Manulife or Desjardins or whoever it is, that doesn't mean that they want you. And again, if you have 6 kids and you try to buy a 2-seater Ferrari, that's not going to work. So you need to go into the minivan store. And if you're not doing that, so the what it boils down to is the complexity means that you really need to work with an expert. You need to work with an expert real estate lawyer, expert mortgage broker, expert realtor, because if you're not working with an expert, they can't handle the complexity of the situation, and ultimately bad things are going to happen.